Welcome, Vero Nation, to the Coach's Corner, presented by Caps Pizza and Pub. Here's your host, Paul Tipton.
Well, hey, Vero Nation, thanks for joining us. Here we are once again at Caps Pizza for Coach's Corner, along with Gary Paris and Lenny Jankowski. I am Paul Tipton, and so good to have you here as we get to celebrate a win. Week 10, we saw Treasure Coast come to the stadium, and Vero Beach finished up their district competition with a win 34-7. And Coach, congratulations. Your District 11 champs. Got to feel pretty good.
Yeah, it was a great night. Thank you, first and foremost. It was, overall just very pleased with, obviously the outcome first and foremost, but just the way our kids handled the business. I mean, it was one of those situations where I think we talked about it last week where, we were off for quite some time. We had the bye week that was already built in. But just the way our kids approach practice each and every day in preparation for that game. And then I think for it to work out the way it did last Friday night, obviously couldn't be more pleased. And to win the district championship, to finish undefeated in the district is a great feeling. And as we head into the state playoffs, we've got some momentum. Obviously got to finish out the regular season this week. But just very, very pleased with the way things worked out Friday night.
Yeah, talking about trying to knock off the rust, so to speak, I noticed it seemed like maybe your first half a dozen plays were all run plays. Was that a way to try to, get some rhythm and chemistry going early on, or what was the deal?
No, I think, each and every season, you go all the way back to the start of the season. I think, offensively, you try to almost reinvent yourself on what you want to do offensively, I think you have to do that in high school football to play to your talent, to play to your strengths. And sometimes you work through a season, you get through the season at each and every game and you learn a little bit more about your team. And so I thought going into that game, obviously that first drive, offensively speaking, we were able to get a great field position on a turnover. One of the guys that's here in the audience tonight, Big Deuce Montgomery, caused a fumble, and his buddy that's with him, Romeo, recovered it, and we got great field position, and we were able to take advantage of that field position through some formations and some run games, some QB run with Champ, and we were able to get in the end zone, and I thought it was important to establish the run with some of those different formations, some of the shifts and motions that we were working through. To get, their defense a little bit, on their toes. And I think against guys like that, you have to pick your spots on when you're going to take shots. And we were able to start and get a flow with the offense in the run game. And then as we took our shots later in the game, things opened up and we were able to have some explosive plays.
Yeah, you certainly did. Champ finished 14-19, 177 yards, 4 touchdowns on the night. What I found interesting about that is 4 different receivers catching a touchdown pass, spreading the ball around.
Yeah, I mean, Champ just gets better and better each week, and he's doing it, not just statistically. I think his leadership and what he's able to do, on and off the field in the locker room. I think our players are rallying around Champ. You mentioned spreading the ball to 4 different receivers. He's just seeing the defense. He's seeing the grass. He's making plays. He's just a lot of fun to coach. And some of that early stuff with the run game, being able to utilize his skill set, just, not just with his arm, but with his feet as well, has really made us, the offense that we are here late in the season.
Coach, I noticed that in the game that Champ literally steps up in the pocket, and he was reading his progression. Mm-hmm. He did a good job, I thought, of finding the open receiver, throwing the ball to the right guy, and especially when that one where you hit Stinson on the big play. I mean, that was as good a throw as I've ever seen in high school, college, and pros. That was right on the money. I mean, that young man did not have to break stride to catch that ball. And the progression led him to that play. And that's just a compliment to you and him for, you work progression all the time. And sometimes you don't get enough time.
Well, I think the compliments need to stay to Champ. I mean, he's really, really a talented player. And I do appreciate what you're saying, but he's just watching him in a game handle himself, the poise that you mentioned, press in the pocket, understanding protection, all that goes into the passing game, and just what he's able to do when the ball's not in his hands as well. In the run game, he's obviously, whether he's handing it off, whether he's reading, because even within the run game, there are reads and progressions. We talked about it, not too long ago, he and I, that it used to be that when you called a run play, that the quarterback could relax, he'd hand the ball off and wait till the next play. Well, within run plays, you got options to throw the ball out there to uncovered receivers. Sometimes the quarterback has reads to where he can pull the ball and do different things. So a quarterback never takes a breath. He's whether it's run game, whether it's in the passing game, screen game, RPOs. There's so much. That's why it's the most difficult thing, most difficult position in all of sports. And to have a guy like Champ doing his thing just makes it just a lot of fun. Friday nights are a lot of fun.
Coach, week in and week out, you talk about this sport being a complementary sport, and we certainly saw that on Friday night with the defense stepping up, get a couple takeaways, giving us a short porch or a short field, great field position. And while the numbers, you look at a score 34-7, you're thinking offensively, oh, man, we'll have 400-yard night. But because of the short porch, it was a little lower than that.
Well, there are a few situational statistics that I look at, each and every game, and one of those is third down conversions. I think, third down conversions always is very, very important. So just when you think about that, we were on offense, Vero's offense the other night was 8 of 11 converting on third downs. And so that's a very, very good offensive number.
Yeah.
Treasure Coast was 0 for 8. So we held them. They were 0 for 8 on third downs. We were 8 for 11 on third downs. That's one big stat. Another stat that we talk about are explosive plays. You and I talk about it a lot. And I define an explosive play as 12 yards or more in the run game, 15 yards or more on a pass completion. And so we had offensively, we had 7 explosive plays in the game. Treasure Coast had only 1.
Wow.
And then the last stat that I talk about, situational stat that I think is very important, is turnover margin. And we were +3 in turnovers. We created 3 turnovers for them. We had none on offense. Did not turn the ball over. And that, what I told our players, that is the recipe, and that equals a district championship.
Coach, let me ask you this. Getting Ben Hall back and moving Corbin to the guard, how big was that for this game?
Yeah, Ben had been out for, goodness, 5 or 6 weeks. And so we've had different combinations on the offensive line. Corbin his versatility has allowed us to do different things. And Ben's a very versatile. Ben played all across the offensive line, but we just felt like it was best for what we had going, for Ben to jump in there at center. What it allowed for us to do was to have this rotation with those big guys, because guys like Big Deuce, Romeo Vargas, Champ Smith, and then Corbin, they all played some on the D-line against, Treasure Coast single wing offense. So to have those guys going between the offense and defensive line, and to be able to rotate guys and to have the stability with Ben at center made a big difference for us.
And the use of your tight ends.
Right.
The use of your defensive left side guys playing tight end for you.
Right.
That was absolutely, I thought that was a great call too. Of course, I love the tight end.
You do.
Yeah, when Bobby Burke cut the pass, I think I got excited more than when Stinson gets a 70-yard run.
Well, we try to keep you happy, so whatever we got to do.
Well, we haven't talked about the third phase, and that was obviously special teams, and they did a great job, whether it was on kickoff coverage to return. But one thing you kind of kept close to the vest was bringing in a punter, Webb Miller. We were a little surprised on Friday night. We saw this guy. We were like, whoa, that just came off the foot a little differently on Friday night.
He's got a big boom there from Webb Miller. We punted twice, and they both were over 40+ yards. Both finished inside the 20. And again, we, as you mentioned, it being a 3-phase game, that those special teams and defensively, we were so dominant through the night, and our big guys. I think it started up front with our big D linemen and obviously allowing our linebackers to get to where they needed to do to make the plays. But a lot of times our defensive line, and when you go back and you look at that film, you have a very strong appreciation for what those D linemen are doing. So we kept them backed up. Continued to flip fields on them. And then the couple times that we did have to punt, Ashton, what he was able to do, in the punting game and the coverage and all that was it was invaluable. So just very pleased to have him back.
Absolutely. And I think at one point, Coach, you're talking about that defense and their domination in that game. I think in the third quarter, our stat guy had him as a -2 in the third quarter. That's domination.
I surely can believe it. We were, talking and of course, their style of play, the way we chose to play offense in this game, we knew offensive possessions were going to be limited. I think we had 4 in the first half. I think we scored 2 touchdowns, but the other 2 possessions on offense, we were 3 and out. We were holding them to 3 and outs. And I think on their first possession, when we were able to recover the fumble, they were able to get like a first down on that one. But I think on after that first down on second and third down, we hit them for some negative plays. I think on the third down was when we created the turnover. And I think their mindset was if they were going to receive the opening kickoff, like in some years past where they eat a bunch of clock. By the time you get an offensive possession, you're looking at the second quarter sometimes against these guys because they're spending all their time in the huddle. They're gonna play, keep away and hog the ball and all that. So to get that, for our defense to create that turnover, to get that short field, to finish with a touchdown as we talk, that's like stealing a possession, knowing that you're getting the ball in the second half, and then having the ability to score right before halftime. Again, to go up 14-0 going into break. I think we scored with like 16 seconds right before half. That just made a world of difference. Came out and played did a great job in the second half.
Vero Beach with the win improves to 5-3, 3-0 in the district, and they are the District 11 champs, which means an automatic berth into the playoff bracket, which we'll talk about that a little bit later on in this broadcast. We're going to step aside. When we come back, we're going to talk to our Scott Sporting Good players of the game. We'll have more of Coach's Corner right after this.
Cafe 66, located on US 1 just south of 8th Street. At Cafe 66, our breakfast menu is all about variety. From biscuits and gravy to country fried steak and eggs to Nutella stuffed French toast. Our lunch and dinner menus have something for everyone, from barbecue platters to unique burgers. Our hours online at cafe66vero.com. We proudly support the Fighting Indians.
Caps Pizza and Pub, a proud sponsor of the Fighting Indians and Christian FM, serving Vero for over 35 years. Caps offers Italian cuisine, including pizza, strombolis, calzones, hot and cold subs, plus wings. A family-owned and operated business, John and his staff are happy to serve. Caps Pizza and Pub, 725 27th Avenue Southwest, Vero Beach, 772-770-2277, or capspizzamenu.com.
Fighting Indians football, where teamwork makes dreams work. We thank PDK Roofing. They believe in the power of teamwork. A Christian family making residential and commercial roofing dreams a reality. PDK Roofing is licensed and insured, and they stay up to date with what insurance companies require, ensuring their clients' confidence in their reliability. PDK Roofing is online at pdkroofinginc.com.
The Coach's Corner, presented by Caps Pizza and Pub.
Week 11, we've got Palm Bay on the schedule to finish up the regular season. We head into the playoffs, and thanks to our victory on Friday night over Treasure Coast 34-7, Vero Beach won the district title. That means they've got an automatic berth into the playoffs. We'll talk a little bit about what that could look like when Coach and Gary come back here. But right now, we want to talk to our Scott Sporting Good players of the game from last Friday night. To my right is Champ Mons, and to my left, Romeo Vargas. And guys, what a win it was Friday night. Now, it was, almost 3 weeks before you got back out on the football field.
Yep.
All right, Romeo, was there a little bit of rust? Was there a little bit of anxiousness before kickoff, or what were you feeling?
I was ready to go.
Yeah?
Yep.
Well, definitely. I mean, look, you guys come out on defense first and get to that third down and long situation against Treasure Coast, and all of a sudden your boy knocks the ball loose, and you're looking at a football there. What was going through your mind?
I thought I was going to take off and score, but they got my leg, and then I just fell.
So if you'd have scored, would we have seen a touchdown dance?
Maybe.
You're saving that for later. I got you. Champ, what a night offensively. You guys put up 34 points. I mean, you got to talk to your boy Kynes about missing that extra point. I mean, something wrong with that. I mean, we could have got to a running clock, but okay. Well, I guess we'll forgive him this time. But, hey, what a night you had. 14-19, 177 yards, with 4 touchdowns. You were able to find 6 different receivers in the ball game. 4 of those guys caught touchdowns. The game looked like it was coming a little easy to you. How'd it feel out there?
It really just felt great out there. We all were in sync. Everybody was, doing their assignment. Everybody was on schedule, and everybody got in the end zone.
Yeah, absolutely. They had a little bit of change in the offensive line as Ben Hall back from the injury, and so he's at center. We're moving Corbin over to the guard position. How does that change for you? Does that change anything for you when you're looking at the line?
Not at all. Not at all. All my linemen are good, so I already know that when I drop back, I'm protected.
All right. Now, when you're looking, let's take you through that play where you hit Stinson on that bomb there. And was he receiver number one, or what was he in your progression?
He's number 3 in that progression, but I looked to my left, saw some guys weren't open, came back to the middle, and he had his guy beat, so I just hit him.
Man, when you did too, and man, that pass, I mean, it went right by the ear hole of that defender. Man, that was something special. Yeah, I mean, when you saw that, did you think he was going to score? Did you know at that point? Or?
Oh, I knew he was going to score. Yeah, definitely.
Oh, so let me ask you this. I mean, you got a lot of different options out there on the field. I mean, is there a particular pass that you this is the one I want to throw in a game? No,
not really.
No,
the open guys who I want to.
The open guy. That's a good one. I like that. Yeah. That's usually a good one to pick too. By the way, Romeo, you get a chance to play on both sides of the ball.
Sure.
So which one do you prefer, offense or defense?
I prefer offense now, but before I like defense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. What is it that you like about the offense?
I don't know. Ever since I started the 10th grade year offense, I just liked it.
Yeah.
Taking over people and pancaking people, putting them in the dirt. I just like doing that.
Yeah, well, that's good. I mean, because usually if you get a taste of defense, you usually want to stay on that side of the ball, especially if you get to recover a fumble, you know.
I love defense now.
Now, if you get a scoop and score and get to do a touchdown dance, maybe you're going to change your mind. You might want to be on that defensive side instead of the offense, huh?
Yep.
All right, guys. All right, so we got one game left on the regular season. We got to go to Palm Bay. What have you guys seen with the Pirates so far? What do you expect to see?
I mean, they don't have the best record, but we can't go in there thinking that this is just going to be an easy game. You know, we have to practice hard, come into the game with the same mindset that we had last week, and do our job.
Absolutely. Romeo, when you see, I mean, let's look at it from a defensive side. What do you see on that offense?
I don't see much. We just got to go out there, dominate how we always do. Yep.
Yeah, you guys pretty excited about it? Get to go to the playoffs?
Yeah.
Wait. Yeah, that's going to be pretty fun. All right. Well, hopefully we'll get a chance to figure out who we're going to play, and we can talk about that. But, hey, guys, appreciate the effort. Great job last Friday night getting that district title, and look forward to seeing you guys on Friday night.
Yes, sir.
All right. That's Champ Mons and Romeo Vargas, our Scott Sporting Good players of the game. Gary and Coach are going to come back here in just a moment. We'll talk a little more football here. It's Coach's Corner here on Your Christian FM.
Hi, JW here from Barker Air Conditioning and Heating, serving the Indian River County area since 1959 and supporting fighting Indian sports for decades. We're known for being HVAC specialists for installation and service. Local, licensed, and insured, Barker is a trained comfort specialist that services all makes and models. BarkerAC.com.
Research shows that with a new roof, a homeowner can save 5 to 35% on their home insurance premium. We thank PDK Roofing, a Christian family that's been helping families and businesses for over 2 decades on the Treasure Coast and all of Florida with their roofing needs. PDK Roofing is licensed and insured, and they stay up to date with what insurance companies require so that their client is protected and providing financing options to get approved. PDK Roofing, online at pdkroofinginc.com.
HBS Glass is a proud supporter of Fighting Indians Athletics and Christian FM. Since 1973, HBS Glass has served homeowners, architects, and contractors in the Vero Beach area. HBS Glass offers hurricane impact windows and doors. HBS Glass, 722 3rd Place or hbsglass.com. Thanks to HBS Glass.
The Coach's Corner, presented by Caps Pizza and Pub.
And here we are again, Gary and Coach back here now as we can turn our attention on our next opponent. That is the Palm Bay Pirates, a familiar foe that actually used to be a district opponent way back in the day. The Pirates program not doing as well this year, Coach. They're winless at this point, but that doesn't matter. You still got to look at it, I'm sure, as like a 0-0 type of setup. And so how are you trying to approach this ball game?
I think, as you mentioned, and really, as our freshman quarterback mentions, I mean, you know, we talked before they got on here about, you know, what a great talent he is. But I mean, you just listen to him answer questions, and he that's one of the reasons why he's so talented and so great is that, as he said or stated that, this is a game that, we enjoyed the win, and now we're focused on getting ready for this game. Really just every game has a life of its own. We've talked about this in weeks past that, everybody gets excited to play Vero Beach. I would if I was an opposing team or an opposing coach. And they'll have an opportunity to make their season. We've got to go up there and be on the road. So there are challenges to that. But I think more than anything, it's really not about who we're playing at this point. It's more about us. We've got things to clean up. Whether it's a win, lose, or draw from Friday night, there are certainly things that we've got to improve upon. And I think our players are aware of that. We've got great leadership. You talked to a couple of those guys just a minute ago. So those guys understand for maybe the guys that are, a little unsure, a little on the fence, how's this supposed to go? When you've got great leadership within from your players, I think all that sorts itself out. We've got to make sure that we're continuing to improve. That's been a goal, and since day one, game one, each and every week we've looked to improve. I think we've, for the most part, been fairly successful with that day in and day out. And our kids have lofty goals. They've got individual goals. Obviously, we've got team goals. And with the way the ranking systems are play out, each and every game has something to do with your outcome, whether it be your seeding, who you're going to play in the playoffs. So knowing that we have clinched a playoff spot, we want to obviously have the best seed possible and control the things that are in our control. And what's in our control is this Friday night, and we want to take care of business Friday night.
Coach, coming out of that big game with Treasure Coast, did we come out healthy? Or we're okay? I mean, going in to this week in the playoffs, everybody seems to be healthy, or
I mean, you're into your final regular season game. It's a very physical sport. There's contact. So to say that there are no bumps and bruises or not everybody's going to feel clean and fresh and like it's day one, but that's the sport. That's the way it goes, right? But I think all in all, for where we're at, we had some early season injuries. We're starting to get some of those guys back, some of those guys a little more healthy. Still missing some guys, but I mean, to be expected. So yeah, I'm pleased with knock on wood, with where we're at, health wise, and hopefully we can continue to improve in that department as well.
Coach, you mentioned the rankings. They came out late this afternoon, and it looks like we're still in that fourth spot right now. I mean, I'm sure you're probably kind of keeping an eye, because you got to start thinking about scouting and who you're going to potentially play. Sure. And as you mentioned, I mean, this game still has value to it against Palm Bay because it helps potentially. Maybe we could jump to 3. Who knows?
Right. Well, again, I'm not going to try to figure out the algorithm or all the things that are involved with that ranking system. But like I've told our players, our staff, and all that what we've got to do is control what we can control, and that's Friday night. I know that whether we jump to 3 or not, we've got to take care and take care of what we set out to do, which is to come out on top Friday night. And we're sitting here on Tuesday, and we've got a lot of work to be done before we get there. So day in and day out, we want to, continue to improve. There's in all 3 phases, we've got work to do this week and for preparation for these guys. And we'll see where it ends up after Friday night.
All right, Coach. So one of the things that has happened over the last couple of weeks is the state has extended the regular season by almost a week. Are you going to try to maybe squeeze in another game in there, or just leave it as a bye week?
Yeah, that's a good question. And we obviously have kicked some things around, but there's just not a lot with what has happened there. Is most everything that what I found is happening before then. There are some things that have already been scheduled for. Mm-hmm. And what the state did is, as you mentioned, they extended that week, but you would have to play by Thursday night. So that Thursday night would have to be a game. I don't think at this point it's advantageous for us to just force a game on us now that we're looking at the playoffs and things down the road. So at this point, as we sit here on a Tuesday night, it doesn't look like it. It looks like, our final regular season game will be Friday night. We'll use that week to get ourselves ready for the playoffs.
Obviously, you can't live or coach in fear,
right?
But with a game like this, where okay, we're already in the playoffs, so I'm sure there has to be a little bit of anxiety about going into a game like this. Like, can we come out fully healthy out of a game like this?
Yeah, I've never really coached that way. There's obviously, I don't need to give you my resume on how many years I've coached again, but I've coached for a long time, and I don't think I've ever gone into a game where you think, okay, well, you can't do this, you can't play this guy, or you can't play that guy. The idea is that we've got to take care of business Friday night. We want to put a product on our field that we're that obviously we're proud of. We want to be clicking in all three phases. We need to execute. We need to continue to improve. We're nowhere near where we want to be, and so. No, I don't think you look at it like that. I think you look at it as it's a game that is on your schedule, and your goal is to win the game and play well.
Coach, if from the beginning of the year, from the day one, you have a lot of young kids.
Mm-hmm.
The expectations of this team were like, we'll see. Mm-hmm. We got a lot of young kids. We've got some veterans. But we got your thoughts now. How has this team matured and played, and at this stage of the game, what is your feelings about this team?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's probably never going to be anybody that puts any more pressure, any higher expectations on a team than the coaches themselves, right? So, like, as coaches, we go into and again, I've never prepared for a game with the idea that we possibly could lose it. Everything when you do in preparation is to achieve a goal. So I think as coaches, as a staff, we live in a great community where people expect us to do good things, right? So yeah, we had some unknowns and some things that we were unsure of, but I don't think there's anything been done but to raise the bar. We continue to raise the bar, and this team it's got a great makeup. I tell our kids all the time, yeah, it's fun to talk about the seniors, and it's fun to do things, senior nights and things like that. But in the ultimate team sport, which is the sport we're talking about, you never know what that chemistry is going to be. So it's important for freshmen. It's important for sophomores. It's important for juniors, because a team is a team is a team. And that mix, and we've got a great mix. They're a lot of fun to be around. You guys have been around a lot of our guys. Practices are enjoyable. We have a lot of they enjoy being around each other, and I think it's apparent, it's obvious, and so that makes it a lot of fun for us.
All right, well, Friday night we travel to Brevard County. This will be the fourth time this season that we'll head up to Brevard County to take on the Palm Bay Pirates. Kickoff 7:00. Our coverage will begin at 6 p.m. with countdown to kickoff. Thanks to Gary and Coach Jankowski. I'm Paul Tipton saying good night, and as always, go Indians.
Thanks for watching the Coach's Corner, presented by Caps Pizza and Pub.